Hello everyone, welcome to my updated companion build guide. This is the second draft of the companion build. So if you saw the first one, this one has a couple different changes to it. So first off, I'm using Great Staff of the Crone. So I moved Stampede over to the ring, I got rid of Night Howlers, and then I also got rid of the Bestial Rampage. I was finding that really wasn't a particularly useful keystone, so I switched that over to basic skills, gain more attack speed, so we can synergize with the Great Staff of the Crone more. When it comes to other aspects, we're using Aspect of Might. You're going to want all three companion skills and cooldown reduction on your helm. When it comes to the chest piece, we're going to go Disobedience. You want quad damage reductions. On the gloves, we're going to go Aspect of the Alpha. This turns your wolves into werewolves and makes them do increased damage, and they can spread rabies. You're going to want lucky hit chance, critical strike chance, attack speed, and then intelligence or a main stat is okay. Then we're going to be using Storm's Companion. Keep in mind, you don't have to have Storm's Companion, but Storm's Companion is a real big boost into the functionality of your wolves, I think, because normally what they do is they do this dash and they can get blocked, they can get frozen, they can get all these different things, but when you have Storm's Companion, it turns their dash into a blink. They also get this thing called the Storm Howl ability, and what that does is they just howl. It does damage in an AoE, so that's alright. That's not really anything to go home about. The main reason why I like Storm's Companion is because it gives ranks to wolves, it gives companion skill damage, and it really helps with the functionality of the wolves in terms of the blink, so you hit the damage more consistently, because if you're not familiar with how wolves work, every wolf that hits deals damage, so you need all of them to hit to do the maximum amount of damage with the active, and this helps with that. So when it comes to secondary, since it's a unique, you can't really do anything about the secondaries on that. You just want to try to make sure it has max ranks of wolves and it doesn't, like, min roll the companion damage or something like that. But it is a unique item, so go with whatever you get. Don't worry too much about it. So after that, we're going to be using a looting aspect. So this build does not have a crazy amount of unstoppable, so we are going to be using this just to try to help prevent CC chains, and or at least help prevent us from dying to a CC chain. We're going to go move speed. We're going to go dodge chance against distant enemies, and then damage reduction while injured, and movement speed or a main stat will be fine. After that, we have Great Staff of the Crone. If you're not familiar with how this works, it gives you a lot of ranks into Claw, as well as it makes your Claw a Storm skill, and it now also casts Storm Strike at 140% or 147% of its normal damage, so it's a 50% damage increase to your Storm Strike, which that part of it really isn't even that big of a deal. I think the main thing as why this is so good, generally speaking, is because it casts two abilities at once, which allows you to just hit more, which gives you more crits, which then gives you more of a chance to reset your companion skills, as well as if you play in other builds that use core skills and stuff, it generates a lot of spirit. And being able to use Claw on top of being able to still use Storm Strike, that means you're still getting the damage reduction from Storm Strike. So there's a lot of good stuff here. And I mean, the Storm Strike does a little bit of damage, but the 50% extra really isn't anything to go home about. Like, I think the 6 ranks into Claws, because you can get it up to 9 at 5 ranks, is far better than what you get out of the Storm Strike, in my opinion. But that being said, if I would max Storm Strike if I could, but unfortunately I'm kind of running out of skill slots. So after that, we go to Edgemaster's Choker. So since this is a spiritless build and we are not using core skills, skills deal up to 30% increased damage based on your available primary resource, so we're always going to have max unless we're playing a resource burn dungeon. But you'll get your resource back really fast even if you are, because you're running the Great Staff of the Crone, so you're running 2 generators. You're going to want Ranks of Called Wild passive. You're going to want damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned. You're going to want Ranks of Companion skills, and then you're going to want cooldown reduction on your amulet. This is also where you're going to put your Wrathful Heart the Barber. When it comes to your Malignant Heart selection, just put your Wrathful one in, obviously the slot that you don't need, because, like, for example, you can see this slot is purple. It's a Devious slot. I don't need Devious. I'm not using any Devious Hearts, so I put my Wrathful one in there. Whereas I need the Brutal, I need the Vicious, so yeah. But what the Barber does is it takes your critical strikes and it essentially turns your target into a bomb. It starts absorbing the damage that you're doing to it, and then it explodes at about, for this one, 3.5, so it's 13% damage a second. So it's going to be like 39% damage when it explodes, or increased multiplicative damage. So that's pretty sweet. Does a ton of damage, helps with your clear speed. It is a super sweet Wrathful ability. It's definitely great. So after that, we got the ring. So for this, you're going to want critical strike chance, lucky hit chance. Then you can go like max life and vulnerable damage, or something like that. Or you can go vuln and critical strike damage. It's just kind of up to whatever you want in that. But after that, we're going to be using aspect of the Stampede. So gain 1 additional companion. This is going to give all your companion skills another multiplicative multiplier. Now, you do want this on your necklace. If you have a maxed out Edge Masters and you have a maxed out Stampede, you do want Stampede on the necklace, and you want Edge Masters here because you'll get more value out of the Stampede for your companions. However, having Edge Masters isn't necessarily bad if you want to have more damage for your claw, because keep in mind, this is not increasing the damage of your claw, and that is going to be a decent amount of DPS there. So this will give you more damage to everything, whereas this gives you more for your companion skills. So it's really just about what you want. Alright, so after that, we have the basic skills gain 30% attack speed. This obviously just helps you attack faster. And then for the last 2 hearts, we have the Revenge Heart. This is a 16% damage reduction. Really, that's the main reason why it's ran. The amount of explosion damage it does is really good lower, but the higher up you get, this 11,000 damage really isn't that much damage, so it's not really that relevant. But it is still pretty good, and it gives you 16% damage reduction, and that's the main reason why I run it, is mainly just for defense. And then we have the Moon Rage, so kills have a 7% chance to summon a wolf companion to your side. It only summons 1 wolf, because I guess, Blizzard hates fun, but that's okay. And it also gives you +3 to your wolves, so it gives you even more ranks. So currently, you can see here I have 17 ranks into wolves, and I actually am still missing, I think, 2, so I could get this up to, I think, 19 current. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I could get this up to 19 currently, I think, is the highest. If I'm not mistaken, I think 19 is the highest I could get it to, unless if I had a higher item power that goes up to 4, then maybe 20. So that's it for the gear. Moving right along to the boons, we're going to be using Wariness. We're going to be using Scythe Talons and Avian Wrath. Now you can change Avian Wrath to attack speed or Iron Feather, whatever you want. And then we're using Packleader. This is really important. It resets our companion skills. And then we're using Masochistic. So because this is the main change from the last version of it, is because before I was using Overload, now I'm using Masochistic because I am using Claw, which is a shapeshifting skill, so this offers really good sustain now. Now this does have a lucky hit chance attached to it, which sucks, which is a pretty huge nerf to it, but still pretty good because we are casting, multiple spells and doing a lot, and we have a lot of attack speed, so we do a lot of claws. Moving on to the skill tree, we're going Claw, Enhanced Claw, Wild Claw. The reason why we're doing this is because having the chance to attack twice gives us the chance to do 2 extra attacks, because anytime we gain an extra attack, we're actually gaining an additional one, because it's also going to cast Storm Strike. So it really tries to help maximize the amount of hits you're doing, so you can have the potential to get a crit, and then with that crit potentially reset your pack leader. Then we have Storm Strike, Enhanced Storm Strike, Fierce Storm Strike. Now I didn't really see anything I could really take out to max this out. I think the other stuff is more important, because I don't think Storm Strike, even when this is maxed out, is going to offer that much damage. I might be wrong about that. I'm going to do some more testing on that, but that's kind of where I'm at right now on it. So here we have Blood Howl, Enhanced Blood Howl Preserving, give you attack speed buff, really good. To help you get more claws and stuff off with the Great Staff. Debilitating Roar, Enhanced Debilitating Roar, and Preserving Debilitating Roar. Another thing you can do is not take Debilitating Roar and take Earthen Bulwark. I'm still working on that though, because I'm trying to figure out where you would put the aspect of Mending Stone, because you kind of need that if you're going to run Earthen Bulwark. But if you do just want something that will break CC, you can use this, because it only lasts for 3 seconds without the aspect, so it's not particularly good, but it is something that, like, if you used it, it would still break CC because it'll give you unstoppable, but still kind of working on if I can incorporate that into the build. I'm also thinking about just using topazes instead of the fortify ones, and maybe just do that, so it's like you just focus on surviving through the CC as opposed to just being able to not be CC'd. After that, obviously we got wolves. We got Enhanced Wolf Pack, Ferocious Wolf Pack. I like this because it helps build the fortify way faster than when you don't have it on. You can go Brutal Wolf Pack if you want to increase the attack speed, but I think because of the way the wolves move, it's not going to be often unless you're like bossing or something. They're going to all be attacking the same thing. They're kind of all over the place. The main source of damage for your wolves is the active. This active actually does quite a bit of burst damage. So that's kind of the main thing. The auto attacks they're okay, but they're not like anything to go home about. And if you do get them all on one target, the auto attack damage from 4 wolves, it says 57 to 7,000 here. I mean, stacking up on a barber, that is going to be a decent damage increase. But you got Poison Creeper, for enhanced Poison Creeper, and Ferocious Poison Creeper. Now, one thing you can do, and this is something I've been contemplating about since this is a bunch of damage over time, is taking the Brutal Poison Creeper, because that's going to give you more crit, so you crit more and potentially get more resets, but this does strictly double the damage, right? So you see here it does 85, you take this off, now it does 42. So because by increasing it by 6 seconds, you are doubling the damage of it, which is pretty cool. Then we're going Ravens, Enhanced Ravens, and Brutal Ravens. And if you did not know, so there was a bug fix that happened on Ravens. Whenever you were ranking this up originally, the passive damage was actually not going up. So this ability was doing probably way less than what it should have been doing in the preseason, at least passive wise. I still don't think it's particularly an amazing ability, but it's still fun to use, and it gives you extra crit, and it's fun to watch Ravens attack things. So it goes with the companion build theme, so I like it, and it does do some damage with the active. Just keep in mind, I'm in town, so all this damage actually goes up when you walk out of town. I don't know why it does that, but it doesn't factor in anything. Like, see here, it says that this is just a companion skill. It's not even factoring in my Storm's Companion when you're in town. I don't know why, but here we go. We got Rabies. Enhanced Rabies, Savage Rabies. This is one of the big differences from the first one. I took points out of this so I can put points into Claw, because we are trying to max out so many abilities that you kind of running low on points. Then we got Neurotoxin and Envenom. I don't particularly do Toxic Claws. I am going to try it out because it might be good, but the thing is the only thing that's proccing it is the Claw. So it would just be, putting more emphasis on the Great Staff, and I kind of want to keep more of the emphasis on the companion skills. So instead, I have Natural Disaster and Defiance. These are both multiplicative buffs that are going to help your Storm Strike, as well as your Wolf Companion damage, because these are Storm and Nature Magic skills now. Then we got Defensive Posture, we got Nature's Resolve, and we got Unrestrained. So here with Unrestrained, this gives us 27% control impairing effects CC reduction, so that's pretty good. Just kind of goes with the theme of like trying to survive through the CC. I haven't had too much issues with CC. Typically I do survive through it if I do play against something with cold, but I still think there's a little bit of room to grow in this build in terms of defense and how I adjust things there. So after that we go Ursine Strength, so gain 20% additional max life on Werebear form, which is actually relevant because we are using Debilitating Roar. So we do get like a max life boost when we use Debilitating Roar, and it lasts for 3 seconds after, but we don't keep it up, like all the time by any means. And while healthy, deal 30% increased damage. This just affects all of our skills. Once I find a Tempest Roar, I might try out Lupine Ferocity, but for now, I'm just going Ursine Strength because it affects the wolves. You can see here it says 55,000. Take it off. Now it says 42,000. So pretty solid damage increase. Okay. So that being said, when it comes to Paragon, I'm going to have a link in the description to the full Paragon. The main things I would say for people, because some of you might still be lower level, is that the first 2 glyphs you want to go for are Spirit and Wild. So Spirit got buffed, and now it affects everything. It does not only affect your core skills. So this is a pretty big buff for all your other skills. So that means this is going to affect your Wolves critting, your Poison Creeper critting, and your Ravens critting. So it's a pretty big damage buff. And keep in mind, I think you get more dexterity here than you do intelligence, I think, in this first part. So I went ahead, so you go Spirit first, and then you want Wilds. So Wilds, you want to make sure you go into the Ancestral Fortitude. Even though we're a spiritless build, so we're not going to use this. This has enough intelligence inside of it for you to get to 25 without needing to get it to 15, right? And the same thing goes for this Spirit down here. So it helps you get to that 80% multiplicative increase passive damage faster. And I mean, this is also just a huge damage bonus to all your companion skills. Like, this is just, it's mandatory to run that. Then in terms of vulnerable access, Exploit is pretty good. You can also do elemental exposure. So Elemental exposure is going to make it to where your wolves will actually apply vulnerable, but I think exploit's probably going to be the best thing. You don't need to pick it up early, but you do need to pick it up at some point. So anyway, that's what I'd say about Paragon. Link in the description below for that. So now let's go ahead and let's hop on into some gameplay. Alrighty, let's go ahead, Hoarfrost Demise. Show you a little bit about how this goes. Try to push it up a little bit. Let's see here, so we got 84s. Yeah, about 7 levels higher than me, not a big deal. So the idea here, and you can already see that my wolf got a reset like instantly. So definitely a whole lot of, don't really feel like doing this at the moment here. Make this take a while, but keep on keeping on. But yeah, so you'll notice that you get quite a few resets here. Looks like there's something's giving damage resistance. Yeah, so here we go. Let's see, how long does it take? And reset. See? Boom. And you can see there's pretty good burst from the wolf active, which is really what I like. Okay, and reset again already. Reset again already. You can just see the resets are just nuts. Like, there's just so many, you just get so many resets with it. And that's the thing, is you really want those resets, because a big part with the wolves is that, you know, people say, oh, well, you know, they die and stuff, right? But the thing is that if you're constantly getting resets and you're able to kill things fast, and you can actually control where your wolves are at so they don't die to explosions. So like if you see it's about to explode, you get a reset, well then you can use your 1 on some random, you know, some random enemy and then teleport them to a different spot so then they don't get blown up, you know? Here, boom, bam, baby. You can see really strong, really strong. Ooh, this is getting hairy. Yep, another reset. Oh, another reset. Jesus, it's like, oh my god, it's resetting faster than I can even use the abilities. My god. Okay, that doesn't happen like that all the time. That's for sure. So no, okay, maybe it does. I don't know. Jesus, you just get so many resets. And something makes me wonder too, right? Because of how many resets I get this season, and it seems so much more consistent to get the reset, I wonder if Packleader was bugged in the preseason. Because it seems odd to me how many I get now compared to what I got before. Because like I had lucky hit chance in all my gear before, so it's like it's not like I didn't have it all maxed out. But hey, you know, whatever. I'm not complaining because it's working now. So pretty sweet. Yeah, you can see not really having any issues here at all. Boom, bam. Main thing is you just got to keep your eye on your skills so you can make sure that you don't miss a reset. Yeah, see, reset right there. Nice. Go over here, bam. And keep in mind they also nerfed Nightmare Dungeons, so you don't need, like, builds don't have to be as strong. Because I was talking to somebody that played Sorcerer, right? And they made an interesting point to me that I didn't think about, right? So everybody's like, oh my gosh, you know, they nerfed tier 100s to now they're the difficulty of like a tier 70. Well, a lot of the people I talked to, they were struggling on other classes to even clear like a 48, right? Now, obviously it could be a build thing, right? Because different, but the thing is like, you want to have, I feel like it's better to have a variety of builds that can clear things as opposed to being pigeonholed into playing like whatever the strongest build is, right? So it kind of made me realize those nerfs are probably more positive than negative, because at first I didn't like it because like, oh, they're making the game easier. But then I started thinking about it and I was like, no, actually this is pretty good, because like, look, it's like, you know, they nerfed Nightmare Dungeons. Well, now you could potentially run the wolves way higher up than what you could before, because I mean, if for reference, tier 100 dungeons, the damage was reduced by 80%. Health was reduced by like 60% or something like that. It was a massive nerf to the 100s. Ooh. Oof. Oof. Standing in poison. Oh god, my wolfies died. No. It's okay, they'll be back. And that's the other thing too, is even if they die, it's not that big of a deal. Like, they come back relatively. See, look, 2, 3. Oh, look at that, they're back, man. You know, that took what, 10 seconds maybe? Like, who cares? It's kind of whatever if they die. Like, yeah, they could make them more tanky, and I think they do need a buff in terms of the tankiness, but they're still somewhat functional. So, all right, let's go take on the boss here. I'm gonna show you the bossing damage. The bossing damage on this is super sweet. I very much enjoyed the bossing damage on this. Okay, Khazra Abomination. Let's keep going. Bam, baby. Oh yeah, here we go. Come on, die on this one. Oh, there it is. 1.2 million. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I am talking about. Alrighty. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I am going to be working on more companion builds. That's actually probably going to be my main focus right now, because since the Barber is making a lot of them more functional and far more doable, as well as, you know, the Moonrager and stuff like that seems to have made Wolves a hell of a lot better. Packleader seems to be resetting way more consistently. I think Companions are quite a bit better than what they were in the preseason. So I am going to make a couple more builds, because I want to try to make some uniqueless Companion builds just to make sure gear isn't holding people back from playing these. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.